hopefully this class is easy and one of your easier classes where we do most of the work in here, get your skills up to speed, maybe learning a few extra things. And remember, if you have any questions about anything, be sure to let me know so we don't miss anything. What we're creating today, here's how far we got in the first section. Where is it? This is how far we got in our first section. We're creating a business letter with some graphics for a college called Sunset State College. And the things we're going to learn about, kind of describe them here already. Using a business letter, some basic graphics, text wrapping around graphics, bringing in tables, and some smart art. Let me just show you what the final product is going to look like as we go to the beginning here. What you're going to be learning in this particular section is these particular skills. Formatting shapes, doing a little bit more with wrapping, bringing in some pictures from online rather than having to find one that was downloaded, bringing in symbols. A lot of people don't know about symbols, but they can be very handy. Doing some paragraph bordering, applying some styles, tab stops. We're going to be spending a little bit more time on tab stops. Bringing in tables, making data look nicely organized without having to use tabs, but actually tables. Putting in some borders and smart art graphics. And here's what it's going to look like when we're done. A lovely business letter with a letterhead, a little bit like an MLA style salutation with an address for the two. A nice looking table with some information, some bulleted text, just like we've done before. But then on the second page, the graphics gets fancier. We're going to be doing graphics like this, letting smart art do those graphics. All right. So let's get started with a blank document. And we'll be building, first of all, building our graphics at the top and then bringing in some information. So we're starting with a new document. So I'm going to close Word right now and start Word completely fresh, starting Word. New blank document. And right away, we check to see that we have the settings that we want. We're going to use a standard margins, the default margins that Word comes with for a blank letter. And we'll be beginning with a shape. So blank document, we're going to start with a shape. How would we insert a shape? First thing I would look for, is there something on my Home tab for inserting a shape? In Google Docs there is, but not in Microsoft Word. Right click sometimes gives you an option. There is no insert shape here, although there's comments I could put in there. No insert shapes. So I have to go to the insert menu. And here we have lots of things we can insert. We're going to be later on doing a picture, but initially we're going to insert a shape. And the shape we're inserting of the many available is the simple rectangle shape. Although there's lots of other shapes available you are welcome to play with. We'll be doing more shapes when we get to the PowerPoint section. But lots of shapes to fancy up your graphics. For now, plain rectangle shape, recently used shape, or down in the rectangle section. And there's even some more showing down here under flowchart, although that's pretty much the same. Looks very much like a rectangle. Hover over it, it shows me what shape that is. A plain rectangle. Click on that, and now I have the crosshairs showing me where I could place my shape. I'm just going to have a rectangle across the top, something like this, starting in my left margin somewhat. Click and drag. It doesn't show me the size of my shape as I click and drag. I wish it would say, hey, here's how big it is. Once I let go of it, after dragging it something like this, I let go. Now it pops me into the shape format, and it shows me right over here the exact dimensions of my shape. In this case, we know we want the exact dimensions of a 1/2 inch tall and 5 inches wide. So now I can click in here and type in 0.5 for my height and exactly 5 for my width. And now before doing any more, we want this to be filled Oh, it's already filled with the default color. And now we want this shape to be positioned on my page just in the right place. We would like it to be centered at the top of my page. And let me show you how to do. I'm going to zoom out to see the full page because I'm going to go to this shape format position menu, shape format position, and if I hover over my shape, I see how that automatically places my shape in a particular position on the page. We want it shaped, or we want a position centered at the top of my page. I'm clicking top center for my position. And before we do more, I'm going to zoom in on it now. I also want the text around it, if there were to be text, I want the text to not be typed next to my picture. That's where the anchor has to do with. I'm going to change the wrapping to be behind, or sorry, top and bottom. So if there were any text, this shape would push text out of the way to the top or bottom of this shape. So it wouldn't allow me to accidentally have text just to the left or right of this shape. This means text can only be top and bottom of this shape. Click top and bottom for my wrapping, and the only effect that I see is that this anchor shows now at the bottom of my text of my shape. We'll experiment with that later when we do more graphics. So I inserted a rectangle, set its exact dimension, and set its size. Now if you are actually doing specific dimensions of things and you want to have them actually come out exactly that shape or that particular dimension, you would have to print it out and verify on your printer that it actually came out to 5 inches. And I think this is pretty accurate, but check with when you print it out to verify, does it actually come out 5 inches wide? I think you'll find that it would. Now, we will actually now want to apply a style to that shape because it gave us a default shape style. If I want to apply a different style to that shape while it's still selected, I come over here now to the shape styles, click the down arrow on the more, and I see all these styles available to me. Hover over them, I get a preview, and there's even more down below with some transparency to it and some gradient. The style that we would like to choose is the fifth from the top, the orangey accent 2, moderate effect orange accent 2. This is a theme style selected for me, giving me a specific fill, a specific outline, and specific effect. But we would like to now modify the automatic style there that we applied. We want to enhance that a little bit by changing the outline that it gave us. First thing we're going to do is change the outline to match the same orange as the fill. So shape outline. I could say no outline, or choose an outline of the same outline as the fill that it has, the gold, or give it a gold outline. They're giving it a gold outline. Remember, that's a theme color, so if I chose a different theme table, color table, it would change it for whatever happened to be the third from the right color. So I have a border of a slightly gold border. I can't hardly tell it's there until I zoom in a little bit, and I'll see, yeah, there's like a slight orange around it. So with that shape selected, the shape format ribbon is showing up. And also, what do we want to do? We want to apply a shape effect to this. It had a gold border. We also want a shape effect applied to it of a glow, yellow glow, top third from the right glow, the shape effect. Remember how we can apply paragraph fill, but shape fill gives us a lot more option, lots of other shape effects. A wider glow around it. We're going with the very minimal glow. Just to show you other options available to you, if you go to your shape effects and go all the way to the bottom of the glow, it shows you all your glow options in a special menu that pops up. You can adjust completely the width of your glow of that shape, or even the transparency of the glow. So I'm going to go back to the built-in choice that I had before. Undo my custom. But you can always customize all those settings in a special option box that pops up. Okay, we've applied a glow to it. We've applied the shape fill. Now it's time to add text to that shape. The easiest way to add text is just to start typing. Sunset State College. While I'm in the document, Sunset State College will automatically start entering text. In the book, they show you that you can right-click add text, but why do right-click if just typing does the same thing? I do want all the text to now be enlarged, so I'm going to type Control A to select all my text, and Control Shift greater than. I'm going to increase the size of that text until the G starts getting cut off. So there, 2022, 24, 26. See how the G is starting to get cut off, and then of course it goes crazy to bring it back to 24, and that is the selection. You could have just come up here and selected 24 and hovered over them to see it grow. I like the Control Shift greater than. Gets me to the same place. Sunset State College. And before I leave, let's make it bold. Nice and highlighted. Control B or hover over the B, reminding me of my control key. Clicking off of it lets you see exactly what it's going to look like so the highlight doesn't confuse you. So we have a shape with a glow, style, fill style, and a glow, and no border. That's right, and we also changed our border color. If I ever want to adjust that, I can click on it, shape format, and come back and adjust any of those things that I applied. Now we would like this Sunset State College, our symbol for our college is an eagle, our mascot. So we would like to put our eagle picture to the right and left of this bar that we just created, or this shape. So we go to Insert, Online, or Pictures, Online Pictures. We could go take a picture of an eagle or draw one and take a picture. We're going to see what pictures are available out there online. And this took a little longer. Oh, there, came up a little sooner today. And I want to look for a picture of an eagle. If I just type eagle, it'll initially give me Creative Commons only pictures, and I'm seeing realistic photos of eagles. Let's uncheck Creative Commons only, and it gives me a lot more choices. Creative Commons means those are pictures that are pretty much free to use. And notice it's a smaller selection. These pictures are all realistic. What if I want something more like a artistic eagle? Let's add to that word eagle, let's add artistic. Or how about eagle art? And see what we get now. Eagle art, I'm getting more paintings and things. Let's try eagle, maybe eagle clip art. There I'm getting closer to the type of eagle I'm looking for. I could type eagle drawing or eagle cartoon, and as you're searching for things, you'll find that adding an extra little keyword will get you the style that you would like. And let's go with, I haven't found the picture exactly that they have in the book, except this one is looking pretty close. Let's try this one. I could double click or hit enter or click on the insert button, and it will insert that eagle into my document. Now if yours doesn't look exactly like mine, don't worry. If you select something like that, click insert, and now I was in the wrong place when I did my insert. I wasn't paying attention to where my insertion key was. I'm going to Control Z that and click outside of the box and now do the insert picture. Wasn't paying attention. I could have dragged it out. Let me try that. If I did that, let's see if I could drag that out of the box and see what would happen. It does give me a small eagle outside the box. So I could have clicked and dragged it out of the box too. I'm going to see if I do that insert. Does it get bigger if I do an insert online picture? Let's do that eagle artistic. Eagle clip art, I mean. If I double click that same one, let's see what I get. Where did it go? Oh, that was going on. There. If I double click now, it came in really huge. Yeah. So I can, and it looks a lot different. Did I click the same one? Let's try that again. That came in weird. That's not the one. It came out different when I inserted before. I don't like the checkered pattern behind it. I'm going to go, maybe I'll go with a different one. If that's behaving weirdly, I'm going to try this one. Hey, look at those strange, scary eyes. Now, I can adjust the height exactly. Oh, I can see that there is a gray background behind that one that I don't want. So I like this one. It has a transparent background. If I want that to be exactly the 1/2 inch, I don't have to adjust it manually. I can come right up here to the format of that picture I just insert and type in 0.5 and have its height match exactly the height of the bar that the shape that I just inserted. Now here's where I remember first doing this. I was so confused. I click on this eagle. It will not let me position it to the left or right of that rectangle I just drew. How do I get it to position where I want? This is where the wrapping comes in. I can click the wrapping here, turn the wrapping to behind or in front of text. And now, with wrapping behind text, I can now click and drag that eagle anywhere on my page, and I could get rid of that one first. Click and drag him anywhere on that page, independent of any other shapes. So wrapping behind or in front of text lets me independently position it. And I can get it lined up right next to that rectangle that I just drew. The arrow keys let me adjust its position. Control lets me adjust this, give me a fine control over the position. If I grab it and move it, it'll snap to particular positions. And I can line it up in a variety of ways. And I like it facing my rectangle that I just drew. Now if yours is not exactly like this, don't worry. As I zoom in, I can get it pretty exact. But notice I made it have an exact height. It kept the proportions as I adjusted its height. And while we're here, the book does show us that this little extra menu lower right in the ribbon on the size section lets me modify the settings here. I can turn on and off locking the aspect ratio if I want to warp the picture some. I can see what its size is relative to the original picture. And I can adjust the actual width. I can even adjust my wrapping here and its position here. We're not going to make any changes, just illustrating. Though all those little boxes, if there's that extra little menu, that will take you to extra information you could set. So we have the eagle facing our rectangle on the right side. Now before we make a copy of it to put on the left side as well, let's adjust some of our picture settings. Learn how we can adjust multiple things here. First thing we do is adjust our color. Click on color, and I can adjust the color of that eagle. And this time, this particular version doesn't give us a yellow background like they show in the textbook with that image. Showing us that depending on what kind of image we have downloaded, it may behave differently in what's available to us for recoloring. And I think because it had a transparent background, the color doesn't give us a choice of coloring the background. But I am going to apply the the gold, let's see, I think I'll apply the darker gold, the gold accent on that image I just brought in. Notice how the eyes are no longer pink because I'm applying a color effect to it. Now I can come back to that and apply a color correction if I want a little more or less contrast. Hovering over that should show me the effect of that. At this point, I'd have to think, am I displaying this on a screen or am I going to print this out? If I actually care about the printout, I actually need to do a actual test on the printer to see is that the contrast I want. I'm just guessing on the screen what it's going to look like, but if you depend on the hard copy coming out right, be sure to do a sample hard copy. Don't commit because it looked good on the screen. Depending on what printer you had, it may come out different. I'll go with just a slightly more contrast. Now we're not done with that. We want to practice our artistic skills. We would like to add a border to the picture. Let's see what kind of border we could add and see if we like it. So we can now go to picture border and choose that gold like we had on the rectangle. I'm not sure I like that gold, but let's just go with it. It matches the same border as that rectangle. And now let's also, while I'm selecting that, let's also go to picture format. Let's add picture effects, that same glow that we have to the rectangle, the same top mild glow. And since I'm on top of it, I can't see the preview, so I click and now I see the effect of the glow. Because it had a transparent background, the glow actually glows around the eagle himself now. And I think that rectangle is kind of not very graphical. I'm going to turn off the border on that. I don't think that looks so nice. I'm going to go with no border or no outline. I think that's better looking. But notice without the border, the glow goes away from the border. Let's see, if I do want the glow to follow my border, how about if I do a weight of tiny border? Now I see that now I do get a glow around that in a rectangular shape. And let's turn the color of my border. Let's turn the border color to be the same gold or the same yellow. There we go. Now I can't see the border, but it does cause the glow to form a rectangle. These are the kind of things, as you play with images, you will see how they work depending on what kind of image you had inserted. Sometimes if it's clip art, it behaves different than if it's a photograph, especially when you're talking about borders and glow around it. So there we have a nice looking picture, but now we need one matching over here. If I want to make a copy of that, I could select copy, Control C, Control V, and it would make a copy. Or I could hold my control key down before I click. See the plus appears. Now I can click and drag. It will make a copy of what I just clicked on. So click, control key, click and drag, makes a copy. But now this eagle is facing the wrong direction. I need to turn him around by going to picture format. Underneath the arrange, grouping, flip or rotate. There's a flip hiding underneath the rotate, and I'm going to flip that horizontal. So now that eagle is facing my rectangle. I can use my arrow keys if I want to adjust the distance from my rectangle of my little eagle, not have him bumped up right against the rectangle. You can adjust it to your taste. I'm going to pull mine a little bit away from my rectangle. I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Pull him away a little bit from the rectangle. And there I have my letterhead. Isn't it lovely? If yours doesn't look exactly like mine, don't worry. It's more about knowing how to bring in graphics. And now we're ready to bring in some text. Sometimes I find that if I have some graphics that I like and I may want to use them or apply other shape effects to it, often what I like to do is select everything in there and make it one shape by clicking, control clicking, and control clicking again. And then I like to do a control G or a, where's the grouping? Is it layout? I'm looking for the group, or is it home? I want to group these. Where is the group on the menu? I'm used to the control G. Where is the group? Oh, is it in the arrange? Here's the arrange. Under picture format, there is a group. Control G does that. Oh, look at that. It doesn't say the control G does it. Let's try the control G, see if it happens. Control G. Oh, control G. Did I really hit the control G? Control G. Oh, control G doesn't do the grouping. I'm so used to that. This is a grouping. What this is nice, it's nice to know about this, that once I group these shapes together, I can treat them as one shape, like rotate them. See how they rotate together? If they weren't grouped, if I control Z, ungroup that, and I click them all and wanted to rotate them, let's see what happens if they're not grouped and I try to rotate them. See how they rotate that way instead of rotating as one thing? So sometimes it's nice to be able to group them together. So it's not control G. It is picture format, group. That's handy to know if you want this to be treated as one graphic, if I want to apply more effects to that. Anyway, we're done with that graphic for now. Oh, and I just noticed when I grouped it, it turned off the wrapping top and bottom. I want to change the wrapping to be top and bottom. I didn't notice that before. Grouping it also resets the wrapping. I want the wrapping to be top and bottom. Now we're ready to insert some text beneath our graphics. And the text is going to say, first of all, it's going to be centered. Remember how we can center? I can start centering by going here, Control E, or double clicking when I have the centered icon. Double click, and now we're typing the text to go beneath our letterhead title. It's going to be Office of Admissions. Going with the default font that comes with normal text, Calibri. Office of Admissions 1001 Canton Street, MC 3300, Novato, California 94945. We could do a hyphen or a dash, but we would like to learn how to use special symbols to separate the address from an email and a phone number. This is where insert symbol comes in. Insert ribbon way over on the right of the symbol section. Here we have multiple symbols to select from by going to the more symbols. Underneath more symbols, there's lots of crazy symbols that I can choose from under symbols. And there's lots of special characters that I can choose, or symbols. Recently used one shown on that bottom little bar. But as you hunt through there, you can see lots of symbols, different languages. There's even Hebrew in there somewhere, Cyrillic, Hebrew of different styles. You can hunt through them. There's some Arabic. Not sure how they decided to populate the symbols, but as you go down, you'll see some shapes showing up. If you know exactly the symbol you want, you can type its code to find the exact symbol, or you can just hunt through and say, hey, what's that one? And you click on it. Oh, that's character code 2022. Go further down and you'll find other symbols or dashes or dots or cute little symbols. You can select from a set of symbols. Wingdings is a place where there's lots of graphical type symbols. And let's just decide, say I like one of these wingdings. I'm going to choose a wingding diamond. Click on that, I see its symbol, and I click insert. It inserted that symbol right there, and I can close. And now I can continue typing the phone number now of my Sunset State. You can choose any symbol you like. You could just do the plain dot if you like. I decided to choose, get a little variety in there. And I now continue typing 415 555 0199. Now, if I want that same symbol again, I could copy paste it from here, or under symbol, it remembers my recently used symbol, and there's the diamond that I just did recently. So it remembers it, and it even reminds me what it is. It's Wingdings code 16. Hover over any of these, and it will show you what its symbol is and what its code is sometimes, I guess. And there's my diamond that I just had chosen, and it puts it there where my insertion point was. And now I can put the website sunset.edu. So centered line beneath that graphic with a symbol to separate my phone number and website. More and more you're finding that people don't have the HTTP in front of websites, especially if it's a printed or a professional looking memo. It's a little extra noise you don't need. If you wanted, and you're sending this electronically, you could actually make that a live link to sunset.edu, but we're not going to do that for this one. Now, before we leave this paragraph, we would like a little extra graphical effect underlining this paragraph. We want to add a paragraph border. To do a paragraph border, I come over here under the Home tab. Up here we have the border, the paragraph section. Remember, anything in the paragraph section applies to this paragraph, and I can choose a bottom border on this paragraph. And see all my other possible things. I could do a horizontal line, but they in the book want us to do a bottom border. And I have a little border. It follows my margins. If I change my margin, that line will get larger to go with my margins. So a bottom border means a line between the margins for that paragraph. Now we're ready to go on to our next paragraph, which is going to be the beginning of our salutation to our student that we're welcoming to our college. I hit enter and something strange happens. The border follows me. It's like it's thinking the border goes to the bottom of the paragraph group instead of the specific paragraph. So I need to tell Word, leave the border behind in the previous paragraph. The way to do that, it's not, to me it's not obvious at all, that to have the border be left behind on the previous paragraph, I have to tell Word, reset this paragraph I'm in to clear any formatting applied. Notice that reset is in the font section, but it actually is also resetting my paragraph border when I click reset. Doesn't make sense. To me, that reset should be in the paragraph section, but resetting resets the settings, so no longer does the paragraph border follow me. So paragraph borders are a little odd. To reset the paragraph border and leave it behind, I click reset in the font section. Now we're ready to enter in our current date. And before we do this though, we're going to tab in our date. So it's not necessarily centered. We want a date positioned at 3.5 inches in from the left. Now we could change the border on our new paragraph, or change the margin on our new paragraph, and then the next paragraph change the margin back. But instead, we're going to add a 3.5 inch tab. And we're learning about tabs now. Kind of old school things. I think more and more we're going to be using tables instead of tabs. But it's worth knowing how tabs work, because someone may send you a document with tabs in them. So here's how we need to send in a tab. If we want to put a tab at 3.5 inches, I come up here on the ruler, and if I don't see rulers displayed, turn on view ruler if it's not there. And under the ruler, if I just click on the bottom line of that ruler, it will insert a tab there for me. And the type of tab that it inserts is controlled by this upper left little symbol over here. This controls what type of tabs will be inserted when I click on the ruler. I can toggle through multiple things to be selected, and I'm going to go back to the original left tab, If I want to get rid of a tab or move a tab, I can click, drag it left or right. Or if I click and drag it off of the ruler, I can delete the tab. I remember my first time I was working with tabs, it's like, how do you remove a tab? You click and drag it off the ruler. And I can adjust the position. Now let's see how that works. We have a tab on the ruler. Now I hit tab. I'm going to turn off formatting marks to show that the arrow, little arrowy guy is saying, hey, you just hit tab there. And we're going to insert the current date into that current position by clicking Insert. Current date over here in the text section. Current date, date and time. Update automatically is not checked. I don't want it changing when someone goes to print it out. I want it to remember the time I composed this document. And the style of date of the menu that I choose from is going to be month, full month, day, comma, full 4-digit year. Double click, and there I have the date inserted for me, just as though I typed it. Since I didn't set it to be automatically updated, it is just normal text. Now, if I ever adjust my tab, watch what happens. I can adjust my tab. It brings it in. If I remove the tab, it defaults to the half-inch tab. If I put that tab back in, it brings it out to the first tab that I manually entered. Now, before we leave tabs, let's take a look on the Home tab, Paragraph Formatting. Here is where I can go down and actually control my tabs even a little bit more. I can click on that, and I can actually adjust my position manually. And even more, I can actually add a dotted line to my tabs. Sometimes you'll see leaders, they call them leaders. I can add dotted or dashed leaders to tabs. And I can decide what kind of tab that particular one is. That's just a little extra. If I want to modify my tabs, I can go to Paragraph, Tabs, the full menu of my tabs. And I can define multiple tab stops by exact positions there. Most times though, just clicking in on the ruler is the place to go for tabs. Now I hit enter. It remembers my tab stops because paragraphs remember their previous settings. It remembers that I still have a tab stop. But remember, if I remove the tab from this paragraph, it still remembers that that paragraph had a tab. Tabs follow the paragraph style. So if I added a tab and I add more paragraphs, all my following paragraphs will remember my tabs. But if I adjust them, I'm only adjusting them in the paragraph currently being edited or selected. Now we're ready to put in some content. We're welcoming a new student to our college. Oh, I forgot. We are putting in the header to our memo, professional style. We're putting in Mr. Caleb Thomas. This is who it's going to. I'm going to turn off formatting marks to make it a little readable for you. Mr. Caleb Thomas, 982 Bartlett Street. Live Oak, California. Uh-oh. I messed up. Live Oak, California, 95953. I forgot one thing that they did in the document at the start. The paragraph style, we want to be no spaces. I'm selecting through all the paragraphs that I've done so far, change them to no space style. I forgot about that. And now I do want a space between that one. Oh, look at that. No space style removed my tab. I'm going to change that tab in that one back to the 3.5. And add an extra paragraph after that. There we go. I had missed the no space style, and now you'll see that the tab, it didn't lose the tab, but applying a style repositioned your tab to default. And now I'm back to manually entering my spaces. Now we're ready to continue turning off my paragraph marks, and the content of our letter is, Dear Caleb, comma, extra line. Congratulations.
How did you get no spaces?
I just click on the paragraph and choose no space style up there.
Oh,
And I notice it did remove the default tab, so on this guy, I put the 3.5-inch tab back. Congratulations on your, on admission to the school. Let Word do the wrapping for you on different lines. Oh, only one typo. Oh, I see I accidentally double capitalized on. Now we're going to start a new paragraph. Since I'm no spacing, I have to manually add the extra space between the paragraphs. And add, we would like to inform you of important upcoming dates. Colon. Now I realize I've put graphics in here, I've typed in text, and I haven't saved my document yet. I'm going to do a Control-S save and make sure that I put this in the right place underneath the folder, and it's going to be last name WD3 business letter. Make sure to save the document before going too far. But I know that Word does keep temporary copies even if I forgot to save it, but sometimes they get lost. So we're going to be bringing in some important dates. We could use tabs and have some tabbed information, but we're going to use the table features of Word. A little extra line between this and the table that we're inserting. Underneath the Insert tab, we're going to insert a table. I click on Add Table, and I see that graphically I could grab or just hover over all the way up to 10 by 8 table, 10 columns by 8 rows, or select just 3 columns. If I ever wanted more columns, I would have to go down to Insert Table, and I could tell it how many rows and columns I exactly want. Here, graphically, I can choose 3 columns, which is what we're going to start with. 3-column table. I click, and there's my table. It puts us in the first cell of the table, and the data we're going to enter is going to become a header row across our table, which is going to have the title there. It's going to be date. And now to go to the next cell, I could click or tab, hit event. I could arrow to the right, left and right. Arrow to the right takes me to the next cell, or tab or shift tab takes me to the left to the next cell element. And this is going to be the notes. Now to add another row below here, I could right click insert row or hit tab. When I'm in the very last cell, hitting tab automatically starts another row in any table. And what we're going to put here for content is July 12 to 16, and July 19 to 23. The event is orientation and registration. The notes are see brief schedule on next page. Which we'll be going next time. Oh, I better get that month spelled correctly. Oh, it doesn't know the correct spelling of the month. July. August 16 and 17. Move-in days. Assigned by housing services. And August 23rd is fall term begins. First day of classes. Exclamation point. Now this is a nice looking table, nice and professional, but we can use the features of Microsoft Word to change the style of the table I'm in to be, rather than the plain black border and black and white text, to a orangey border, pastel orange, bolded top row text and bolded left column text. Multiple other styles available: fully bold, partially bold, or shaded, but we're going to choose the more mild grid table, light border, and look at how lovely that looks already. We're assuming we have a color printer, I guess. And last thing we do here before we're done and saving this is to select that fourth column just by clicking and dragging through, and either selecting the I for italicize there, or Control I, italicize that rightmost column. So what we have so far now, we have a lovely letterhead with some nice professional greeting, and now a tabular data using the table feature rather than messing with tabs. Save that, and we'll finish it up the rest of this on Wednesday. We have to end a little early today as we're heading over to spiritual emphasis.